Hello, and welcome to the Growth Matters podcast. Here we discuss topics that motivate and inspire you to grow. Why? Because growth matters. I am your host, Dr. Pamela Davis, a leadership and personal development coach at the PD Experience. Let's get ready to grow. Hello again, and thank you so much for tuning in to the 5th episode of the Growth Matters podcast. This is the month of May, and the theme of Mother's Day is still carrying out the entire month of May. I'm so thrilled that you're with me, as today I'm going to be talking about Mama Knows Best, how to up your game and deepen your awareness. Mama Knows Best, up in your mama game. So I am a mom, and I think that is probably one of the most proudest badge of honor that I wear, being a mom, hearing my kids call me, they both call me mommy. And I think about my mom and my grandmother and just the type of women that they were. My grandmother, who has passed away, but her memory is still very vivid in my mind. One of the things that I remember most about her is how it didn't matter when I stopped by her house, she always had something to eat, whether she was cooking something, whether something was had been cooked earlier in the day and it was still on the stove. And it was always enough. Like, she always had leftovers, and it was just such a good feeling to be able to stop by, and she wanted you to fix a plate. It was like considered disrespectful if you didn't fix your plate and eat what she had. She always had something sweet to drink in the refrigerator, whether it was sweet tea or Kool-Aid. And then she also always had some type of dessert, a cake, a pie, or even just a pan of sweet bread on the table. And I loved that, and probably in the moment did not value it as much as I do now, because I am pale in comparison to the type of woman and just housekeeper that she was. Everything was always immaculate. And so even thinking about my mom, who much the same, she prepared dinner for us every night. Even as my sister and I got older and we were engaged in activities after school, there was always some type of plan for us to eat. And if my dad was getting in late from work, there was a plan for him to have something to eat as well. And so I just think about how, as moms, just how we serve really as the command center of our homes. I get it. My husband is the provider, and he does a really good job of that. But when it comes to just connecting all the pieces, I am really the glue that holds all of us together. And sometimes when I'm off my game, or when I'm out of sync, you can kind of sense that things are not together, just because there's so much that I'm responsible for. And because of that, I think it's important for us to be in tune. We've got to be on our game. And I want to talk to you today about 3 ways to be able to up your game in terms of understanding the individuals that make up the people in your household. So the first way that I want to share is through reflecting on your past. The first way to up your game is to really have an adequate understanding of your past. And I know for some people it may be difficult to think about your past. And even though I had just a plethora of positive experiences, there are some things that are painful for me as well to think about. But the things that stand out are my experiences, the people my parents brought around me, as well as the values that they taught me. And so I grew up in the church. We were there for Sunday school. 11 o'clock service is what we called it. And even sometimes we went back for BTU, Baptist Training Union. I hated going back for Baptist Training Union. But the fact of the matter is, there were some really good lessons and values that I gained from being in that service, as well as being with the people who were there. And so every summer, my parents set out to take my sister and I on a vacation. Most times, probably at my mom's request, it had some type of fun layered with an educational experience in it. Uh, we also were very, very committed to education. So it was important, it was ingrained in us daily that we were going to finish high school, we were going to college, and we are going to get a good job. And good job meant that it was something that had benefits, that had longevity. These were things that were taught either directly or indirectly by my parents. They also taught us about having a good work ethic. And so I think, as I think present day about those values and experiences, and just even the people that my parents surrounded me with, a lot of that is still true for how I conduct myself and how I interact with my family dynamics. Fortunately, I was looking for some of those same values in a husband. And so when my husband and I met, being able to merge and marry and raise a family that had those same values. And so in upping my game, just understanding that those were things that are important to me. And as a result, they're things that I am also teaching and expecting my kids to adhere to. So why we do the things we do. I think the importance of your upbringing just plays a part into who you are and how your personality and how your wiring plays out. So that's first. The second thing, though, is being able to understand the dynamics in your household, understanding the personality and the different communication styles within your household. So I think about my grandmother and grandfather. So, there were some things within their relationship, within their household, that were observable and routine. So, for example, when my granddaddy came home from work, my grandmother knew that she needed to have dinner ready, because that was going to be the first thing that he wanted to do when he got in. He wanted to take off his shoes and sit down at the table and eat. And then after that, she was going to clear the table. He was going to get in his chair and he was going to watch Westerns, or he was going to watch TV, whatever the case is. And so, uh, just like she knew about his personality of wanting to be in the routine of eating and then moving to his chair, he knew that she was going to be responsible for clearing the table, and then soon she would come and join him in her chair. And it didn't necessarily mean that there was a lot of conversation going back and forth, but they understood each other's behavior patterns and communication style. And so I think likewise, even in my household, it's the same. My husband comes in from work, and some days he just wants to sit in silence and not be bothered. Or other days, maybe he's missed lunch and he really wants to have something to eat. And so in terms of up in my mom game, being able to know that we were talking about that, he and I, during the day, of what's for dinner, or that there are leftovers, because unlike my grandmother, my domestic duties do not, they are pale comparison to hers. But I still very much hold the responsibility of being able to make sure that my family has some type of dinner plan. But I think, outside of the observable routine piece, that there is still an opportunity for me to understand my family unit, my husband and my kids, beyond just that observable routine data. I know there was a time when my son was having challenges at school with getting the treasure box on Friday. So I don't know if you've heard about the treasure box, but the treasure box for elementary is when they've been on a green card or they've been good all 5 days of the week. And then they get access to be able to go to the treasure box to pick a treat. And so I decided to do a treasure box at home. And I talked to my son about what things would he work hard for? What is it that he thought should be, if he got all 5 green for the week, what treat would he like to have to choose from. And so I was asking him for a list of things. And to my surprise, the things that he asked for really were just time with my husband and I. So one of the things was he wanted to be able to go golfing. He wanted to be able to go fishing. He wanted to be able to sit and watch a movie with me. And so through questioning, I was able to up my game and not associate the treat being something from Target, like Lego or some type of car or remote control. He actually wanted something that gave us an opportunity to spend time with each other. And so through questioning, I was able to hear his voice about the things that he would work hard for. Another point that I want to make about understanding the personality styles and the dynamics within your house is the DISC behavioral tool, DISC. DISC is an assessment that helps you understand personality styles. And you might say, Pam, you're doing that in your house? You're doing that with your family? Absolutely, because as I've gotten to understand DISC as an individual, I've shared it with my family members. Now, both of my kids have taken it. My husband has not. But the thing about my husband is I've been able to pinpoint and kind of gauge which one of the dimensions he falls in for DISC. But both of my kids have taken DISC. And I think when my daughter's profile style is the one that has been most helpful, and helpful in a way because her style and mine kind of conflict. There's like a strain on it. I remember when we were coat shopping, we were looking for a coat for her 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. And so we've gone in the coat store, and I said, okay, well, we're going to look for, a pea coat that will be, of course, cute and that you'll be able to wear not just on the trip, but something that you'll be able to use. And so she just tears off and she's just hopping from rack to rack, hopping. I'm like, there's no way we're going to find a coat with you bopping around like that. And I was so frustrated. And I was like, you didn't even look. You didn't even spend enough time on this rack to even see if there was a coat on there that you liked. And so fast forward to present day, where I now have a better understanding of her personality style, I know that that's not her wiring. It is not in her makeup to stand there and look at each coat on the rack or to search the entire area. She's going to go to what jumps out at her eye. And so as opposed to trying to change her, I now know that about her, and I work to pull coats or pull whatever the item is that we're shopping for in front of her so that she can choose and say, well, no, I don't want this. So I'm doing the looking for her, and I'm upping my game by not getting frustrated or thrown off by the fact that she didn't even look or that she didn't do it the way I would have done it. I am helping her by recognizing her personality style and offsetting that by bringing the jackets or whatever the item is in front of her. All right. So I don't have to try to change her. And I think sometimes as moms, we can get caught up in that, whether it's our kid or even our spouse. The third and final way that I want to share with you about how to up your game through awareness is being able to request feedback. Requesting feedback. And so again, you might be saying, Pam, this is at the house. Do you just ever chill at the house? Yes, I do. And I love the information that I get when I'm chilling at the house by getting a deeper understanding of how my family is reading me, So whether you've guessed it or not, I'm the uptight one in the family. The rest of them, they are carefree, free birds. They love to have fun. I love to have fun too. It's just my idea of fun doesn't always look like theirs. And so a lot of times when I've requested feedback, I find out things that maybe I was not intending that. That wasn't the vibe that I was really trying to give off. And I'll give you an example. And so um, my husband says to me a lot of times, you just need to relax. You just need to let go. You shouldn't try to control everything. And I said, I'm not controlling everything. I'm just planning. When in fact, from their point of view, it does come across as me being the control freak or the control fanatic that I can sometimes be. And the fact of the matter is, I see that as a strength of mine, planning, organizing, being strategic and logistical. But any strength overused is a weakness. And so, as my husband and even my kids call that to my attention more and more, I am conscious of that feedback. I'm receptive of that feedback, and I try to scale back when I can. I was talking to my daughter in preparation for this podcast, and I was asking her, I think I asked the question, what is it that you wish that I had done differently about raising you? And she's 24. And without hesitation, she said, I wish you would have just let go more. Um, and, she added the context that she recognized that I was trying to protect her, but she felt like I held the reins, like, in almost a suffocating kind of way. Suffocating is my word. She didn't say that part, but that type of feedback is needed, because now that she's an adult, being able to up my game and trust the values, experiences, and people that I exposed her to, that she is now able to execute and thrive and operate in a positive, successful way, giving her that space. And so, um, you know, being able to request that type of feedback could possibly be difficult for you, especially if you're not ready to receive or hear, or if you're not open to receive and hear. But I think that is the key takeaway, being open to listening without judgment, so that you can keep those lines of communication two-way. You want your kids, you want your family member, you want your husband talking to you. So if you or sharing that information with you, because that intel is critical to you being able to keep those lines of communication two-way instead of one-way. So in review, we talked about reflecting on your past and being able to kind of understand how your experiences and values shape you. Secondly, we talked about how it's important just to know the dynamics of your family. What are those personality styles? What is your personality style? And being able to go beyond just the observable and routine information, go beyond the observable and routine data, and through questioning or even through DISC, be able to gain a deeper understanding of you and your family unit, so that you can communicate and operate more optimally. And then finally, having the courage to request feedback, because that information can inform you and keep you having two-way communication instead of one-way communication. So this is the Mama Knows Best, How to Up Your Game. This has been the podcast to help you deepen your impact, moms, as the command center of your family unit. You can find me on www.thepdexperience.net. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram at the PD Experience. I hope that you will join the growth movement and continue to invest in yourself and grow.